There's one Christian myth that nearly everyone, and I truly do mean everyone, probably believes. But I'm here to tell you today, it's completely untrue. I'm Joey, a Protestant advocating for church unity. And there's an entire branch of the Christian faith that many of us have just written off because of one pervasive myth. It's the Assyrian Church of the East, or the ACOE as I will refer to them in this video, because dang, that is a mouthful. The ACOE is a fairly small Christian tradition, but it's one of the most ancient. However, most people label it as a heretical splinter group, primarily because they've been called Nestorian. Today, I want to dispel that myth once and for all. But first, what is Nestorianism? One of the most important questions a person could ever ask is, who is Jesus? The early church was no exception to this question. There were fierce debates about whether Jesus was God, human, or both. And if he's both, how does that even work? By the 300s, after long debates, Christians settled on what had always been true. Jesus was fully God and fully man. When Jesus was hungry, God was hungry. When Jesus forgave, God forgave. But wait, if Mary's the mother of Jesus, does that mean Mary's the mother of God? The early church largely said, yes, Mary is the mother of God. Not that Mary was the source of God's existence. That would be heretical. But since Jesus is fully God and Mary is the mother of Jesus, that means Mary is the mother of God. God came out of the Virgin Mary's womb and was raised by her. The Greek term for this is the Theotokos, or the God-bearer. There was one bishop in the early church who was very publicly uncomfortable with the word Theotokos. His name was Nestorius. And Nestorius argued that Mary could be called the mother of Jesus or the mother of Christ, but not the mother of God. The early church was worried by this because it sounded like you were dividing Jesus into two different persons, a divine Jesus and a not divine Jesus. Think Bruce Banner in The Incredible Hulk, two individuals sharing a physical body, rather than one person who is both superhuman and human at the same time. The early church condemned the idea that Jesus was two separate people at an event called the Council of Ephesus. Nestorianism, the belief that Christ was two persons, one divine and one human, was declared a heresy. And through links to Nestorian and other teachers who favored his views, the Assyrian Church of the East was also labeled Nestorian, and they've been split from the rest of the church ever since the Council of Ephesus. And most people label them as Nestorian, but I don't think they are. And here are a few reasons why. 75% of Christian men watch pornography. I've felt its effects, and you probably have too. You might be sitting there right now wanting to be free of porn, but you just can't stop. And that's why I'd like to introduce you to Freedom Group. Freedom Group has dedicated themselves to helping men achieve lasting freedom from pornography. And not just the viewing of the material, but even the craving for it itself. They do this through a 12-month program where you receive coaching, accountability groups, and curriculum that you can use to transform yourself into the man you want to be. Personally, my favorite part about Freedom Group is the personal one-on-one coaching you receive. Somebody who walks through the mess with you, who really truly wants to see you grow and become more Christ-like. Hundreds of men have taken part in this 12-month program, and 85% of them have reported being completely free from the craving of pornography. And right now, Freedom Group is offering a free consultation call just to see if the program is right for you. You can go to thefreedomgroup.co to learn more about this program, and the link is also in the description of this video. God is offering you healing, and I'd encourage you to consider it. Now, back to the video. First, the ACOE developed on its own. The ancient Church of the East was very independent compared to the rest of Christianity. Located within the ancient Persian Empire, it was geographically and politically separated from the churches of Antioch, Constantinople, Jerusalem, Alexandria, and Rome. These churches were the powerhouses of the Christian world at the time. And it was rare for the Church of the East to show up to synods and councils that these other churches were a part of. Not because they didn't like them, just because I guess they didn't really see the need to. And since their church developed independently, their beliefs about Christ did as well. One of their greatest theological heroes is St. Theodore of Mopsuestia, which I'm probably mispronouncing. St. Theodore's scriptural commentaries were famous throughout the ancient church, and he was friends with a lot of early church fathers like St. John Chrysostom. He was as committed to Orthodox Christian thought as the rest of these other early church fathers were. And the ACOE's theology mostly came from St. Theodore, not from Nestorius. But there are other reasons why we shouldn't label the ACOE as Nestorian so quickly. The ACOE wasn't at the Council of Ephesus. This is perhaps the most important point. The infamous council where Nestorius was condemned as a heretic, the ACOE wasn't there. Nestorius was the bishop of Constantinople, a figure with little direct connection to the Church of the East at that time. And as I said before, the ACOE wasn't very keen on going to all these councils and synods that were being called. Not because they were against the rest of the church, just because they didn't feel a need to go. And so the ACOE wasn't even at the Council of Ephesus to be labeled alongside Nestorius. When we call the ACOE Nestorian or schismatic, we're implying that they made a deliberate choice to break away from the rest of Christianity. But that's not what happened. They didn't reject the council's decisions, they just simply weren't there. And you might say, Joey, they don't have to be there to be labeled as heretics. They probably have false beliefs. And what I'd say to you next is, their Christology is Orthodox. The ACOE's definitive ideas of who Jesus is and what it means for him to be God and man don't come from Nestorius, but from the theologian Mar-Babai the Great, arguably one of the most important people in the ACOE's history. Drawing on St. Theodore, who we mentioned earlier, Mar-Babai the Great articulated that Christ has two individual natures united in one person. Sound familiar, Christians? This explanation for Christ was officially adopted by the Church of the East in 612 AD. In other words, the ACOE confesses that Jesus is fully God and fully man in one person, like the rest of Christianity. And on that note, modern scholars in ecumenical work has settled the debate. So if you're still calling the ACOE heretical, you're behind on the times, dude. Catch up. Oxford scholar Sebastian Brock, one of the world's leading experts on Syriac Christianity, has argued extensively that the division between the ACOE and the rest of Christianity was largely the result of linguistic and cultural misunderstandings. Brock did a lot of work, and in an article he published in the 90s, he concluded that calling the ACOE Nestorian is historically inaccurate, because ultimately the differences between the theology aren't actually differences. They come down to linguistics, because the ACOE primarily uses Syriac while the rest of the church was using Greek and Latin and Coptic. The Syriac word for nature and the Greek word for nature don't neatly map onto each other really well. So while in Syriac the ACOE says there's two different natures, in Greek it can sound like they're saying there's two different persons. And obviously that would get really confusing. But Brock, along with the rest of modern scholarship, agrees these are linguistic issues, not theological ones. And if scholarship alone isn't convincing enough for you, in 1994, Pope John Paul II himself signed a joint Christological declaration with the patriarch of the ACOE. This declaration affirmed that both churches hold the same faith in Jesus Christ. It's pretty hard to get a stronger ecumenical verdict than that. Now, I get it. It's possible some of you still aren't convinced. But after looking at all the evidence, I am. The Assyrian Church of the East is a true part of the Christian faith. And I believe these Christians have something real to offer the Christian family tree, something to bring to the table for the rest of us to benefit from. They've stood firm in insane amounts of persecution. They have an ancient liturgical tradition and a remarkable missionary history that spread as far as China. If you've been convinced, then let's agree right now. We're going to stop calling the ACOE Nestorian. Give me a thumbs up if you agree. Come on, thumbs up. The sooner we stop spreading myths about other Christians, the better. It's only when we start getting curious about what other people believe and ask them questions about it that we're going to see real change in this world. Condemnation, that's the true enemy right now, and we need to be on the lookout for it. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe, please. I also just launched a membership with different tiers and perks in each one that you might want to check out. And if you like myth-busting videos, check out this one I did on Pentecostalism. It was pretty fun. I'll see you in the next video. I'm Joey. This is Christianity United.